Hey guys, it's Kiara again and I'm back with another YouTube video. This video is going to be about how and why I changed my base routine. So base is like concealer, foundation, primer, color corrector, all of that stuff. And I'm gonna be talking about how I used to do my full face and how I do it now. I've realized that the makeup that I was doing for myself wasn't really working with like the type of skin that I had, or it wasn't really optimized to use the least amount of product and still be effective. This side of my face is gonna be how I used to do my base, and the other side of the face is how I now do it. We're gonna start with primer. How I used to do my makeup was that I didn't even like moisturize. I have really dry skin, so I needed to moisturize, but I didn't. The only thing I used as my primer was this Nivea Men Post-Shave Balm. I think I got it from YouTube. Someone said that this really works as like a primer, and I don't know what the science behind it is. Is it because it closes your pores? I have no idea. I bought it in the States. They don't sell this in Manila. I kind of look a little more moisturized. It's not really like a primer. I moisturize like every day, multiple times a day, because I have eczema and my skin is really dry. Right before I do makeup, I do not use lotion because like sometimes it makes my makeup like slippery. So instead, I use this hyaluronic acid hydro power essence from Cosrx. I use it every night before I go to sleep. Oh my god, I pumped too much. Oh well. I usually use it before I go to sleep or before putting on makeup. I'm just gonna put it on my neck because that also gets dry. It ends up just being like a little sticky, but it gets absorbed rather quickly. So it's been like a few minutes. I think it's kind of absorbed already. So we're gonna move on to primer. And the primer that I use now is this Glossier Priming Moisturizer. It really makes me feel dewy. This one, kasi, it makes me feel moisturized, but it doesn't give off like the shine that this product does. And I actually like to put a lot of my base stuff with my hands because it warms it up. And with this product, also a little goes a long way. I end up using too much. So can you guys like see the difference? This one is a little bit like more shiny. Like, I can't do any of that mattifying primers. Matte primer, it just ends up looking like I'm
crusty.
We're gonna move on to my left side. We're gonna move on again to my left side. How did I prime my eyes? I did not. I used to use this L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. A lot of people still use concealer as eye primer, and I will tell you later why that doesn't work. Put this all over my lid, which doesn't make sense because this is a full coverage concealer, so I didn't even really need to use this much product, but I did. Why? I don't know. And I remember like every time I've tried to film myself putting on my eye primer, I would always get like embarrassed that it would look like this because it looks kind of crazy. It's like my eyes like, hi!
I'm an eyelid, hello!
I don't know if I'm making sense. And then I would get a damp beauty blender and just blend that out, like double blend. And then I would get my flat brush and get my RCMA powder, and I would just put that all over my eyelid. Now for the other side, I have since learned to use eye primer. And this is the eye primer that I use now. It's Essence You Better Work Gym Proof Waterproof Eye Primer. I don't know if this is a good eye primer because it's like the first eye primer that I've ever used. But let me tell you, an eye primer in general works wonders. I didn't realize how much a difference eye primer made in your whole makeup routine because everything was blending better. Everything just made sense on my eyelid when I was wearing eye primer. So the reason why this doesn't work as well as actual eye primer is that when I do this, it just ends up creasing because apparently eyelids are oily. So the reason why you need to prime your eyes is to stop that oil from coming through. So if you end up putting a concealer and then powder, nothing's really happening to the oil. It's still staying there and breaking down your makeup. Rather than when you use an eye primer that's kind of like waxy in texture, when you put it all over your eye, it kind of becomes like a barrier between your skin, the oil, and then it separates that from your eyeshadow, which ends up being the reason why your eyeshadow lasts longer, nothing creases, it blends better. I don't know why I insisted on concealer and powder this whole time. And now I'm just gonna do a little bit of eyeshadow just so maybe we can see the difference. Hopefully the creasing comes out. Hopefully, this is the only time I'm hoping for creasing, just so that you guys can see the difference. We're going to move on to foundation. I joke. Yeah. Wait. We're gonna move on to color correcting and foundation. I used to color correct a lot. I used to use this BYS contour stick highlight, and I used to put it all over my under eyes like so. I didn't understand why people would color correct with like peachy tones. I have eczema and I do have a little bit of redness under the eyes because sometimes I have allergy there. I thought that, oh, it doesn't work for me because it enhances that color. I use the yellow one because it brightens and also counters the redness, which makes sense, right? Blend it a little bit with my fingers. This foundation is the L'Oreal True Match foundation, and then I got a damp beauty blender again and just blended it out. And I really did super love this foundation because, as I said, I'm a dry person and this kind of has a glow and I super love that. But the reason I do not use this foundation anymore is that I realized that if I wear it for a long time, my skin kind of gets mahapde. Like, for example, if I had shows for one whole weekend, maybe by like Sunday, my skin would be like dying. My allergies would just come up again. If you really want something that's affordable and can give you that dewy look, I really like this L'Oreal True Match foundation. Now for the other side, the foundation that I like to use nowadays is this Clinique Even Better Glow Light Reflecting Makeup. This is in the tone Cream Beige 64. I'm like in love with this foundation. It's not full coverage. It's 2,000 pesos, I think, a bottle, and it's kind of small, so I wouldn't consider it drugstore prices by any means, but it is such a good purchase. If there's one thing that I will spend a lot of money on, it is definitely either primer or foundation. I put it on my hand and then I get this stippling brush and just stipple it into the skin. And I also leave my eyes out because we are going to go back in with concealer. I don't want to put too much on that area because it's gonna build up. The reason why I like using the stippling method instead of the flat foundation brush is because I have textured skin. I find that the swiping, like brushing method kind of enhances that texture, especially like under my eyes and around my nose. It doesn't really get into those surfaces and divots and like fills them out, if you know what I mean. I go in back with my sponge. This next part is the part that really changed drastically over the course of these few months. This is how I used to do my concealer. I would get my L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. This is in the shade 308 Vanilla. And this is a little lighter than my skin tone. And I thought that was what concealer was supposed to be. You weren't supposed to have concealer that actually matches skin tone. You know this method. And as I'm telling you again, this is a full coverage concealer. So I didn't actually have to do this. And I also used to use it as a highlighter. And you know what doesn't make sense here is that I'm using it to highlight, but I'm also using it to cover any discolorations in my face. If you're covering discolorations, you're supposed to use something that is your skin tone. Otherwise, you're just drawing attention to that part of your face. I just get my damp beauty blender again. This is so weird to do because I'm only trying to highlight like one side of my nose. So the next part, I get this, a dry beauty blender. I didn't dampen it. Dampen, is that a word? Yes, y'all know where this is going. I would bake to the gods and bake so much. I would leave it on like for a long time. I have lots of folds under my eyes because, as I said, my skin is very dry. I was like, this is the only way I can prevent creases under my eyes, baking. When in reality, this is why I was getting creases under my eyes. This whole time I'm complaining. I'm doing everything I can to not have creases under my eyes, and I end up having creases under my eyes because what I'm doing just makes it worse. All of this product, my skin is just screaming for help. So what do I do now? I use 3 types of concealers nowadays.
My concealer tricks for flawless skin.
First, let's start with L'Oreal True Match. As you can see, it's a few shades darker than my skin tone. I put it under my eyes to conceal my eye bags. Huh? Conceal dark eyes with dark concealer? Yes, girl. Kasi if you use a lighter concealer lang, magmumukha siyang gray. By using a darker concealer, we're brightening it up by bringing back the color. Next, we have our Glossier Stretch Concealer. This one is more or less in my own skin tone, and I just use it to cover up the blemishes and discoloration in areas. Last but not the least, we have the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. This is a full coverage concealer, so I don't need to use that much. I just need to use a little under the eye just to brighten it and wherever you want to highlight. And that's it. Bye! I still have the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. That one is, as I said, a little bit lighter than my skin tone. And then I have this Glossier Stretch Concealer, which is my actual skin tone. This is in the shade G9. L'Oreal True Match. I'm such a L'Oreal girl. And this one is a little bit darker than my skin tone. And you're like, what the hell? Why does she have something that's darker than her skin tone? I'm gonna show you. Diba, I was telling you guys that I didn't understand why people would use red or peachy tones or orange to conceal under their eyes. I realized that the reason why people do that is because when you just put a lighter concealer under your eyes, it actually makes your under eyes look ashy, like gray. If you have something that's dark and you put a white over it, it's going to look lighter, but it's not going to look brighter. You get the difference? Light and bright. The reason why people put a color corrector before their concealer is because they want to add a little bit of color to that area. The color will add a little bit of life. If you're a digital artist or even an artist in general, you'll understand you don't just want to go with black because it's going to look ugly, right? Or white and lessen the opacity. You want to go for something that's a brighter color, not just a lighter color. I don't think my skin would fit if I went with a orange color corrector, but my makeup artist friend taught me this. She said that if you really want to cancel out your under eyes, you can use a darker concealer. And I was like, huh? I feel like I just rambled so much. So I just put like super little. And what I love about this concealer is that the applicator is tiny. And as you can see, this is so much less product than how much color corrector I put on my other side. And I'm just gonna get the fluffy brush and blend that out. Oh my god. So I don't even put any product here. I just use whatever is on the excess. And then I get my Damp Beauty blender again and just make sure that there are no visible streaks. And can you guys already see the difference that made with my under eye? All we did was color correct. Rather than here where I went in with that yellow and then I'd have to go back in with that concealer. This just made it so much quicker. After that, I go in with my Stretch Concealer. As I said, this is in my real skin tone and this is very light coverage. Here's just where I fix the discoloration and any of these areas. And I do use a concealer brush, but you can use your finger. It's just that I don't because my nails are long. I need to fix a little bit of the discoloration. Like I do have a little redness here in my around my nostrils and here between my eyebrows. And then I just get my beauty blender again and blend it out. Finally, my Infallible Full Wear Concealer. Because this is lighter than my skin tone, I realized that you're only supposed to use it where you want to highlight. You're supposed to use it strategically so that your face looks lit. I just put it here on this high point and I put the tiniest amount here. And then here, how I used to do my contour was with this highlighter and contour stick from Detail. This one actually isn't even the right color because a contour stick is supposed to be a little bit more gray. Otherwise, it would be a bronzer. Oh, I'm not supposed to go on the other side. I'm breaking my own rules. How do I fix this? Tissue? I also used to contour here, which I don't do anymore because my forehead is very tall. So if I put it here, I realize that it just makes my forehead look taller because it like narrows my face. And then I would get this blending brush and just blend that out. I don't even look like I'm contoured right now. I just look like I'm dark. It's a little bit more red than it should be. So it is giving me the look like I've been under the sun. I used to set this with powder again. I would also go in with this angled brush and I would get my Bahama Mama, which is a bronzer, and I would bronze some more, girl. I wouldn't even know how to use this brush because I thought that you could just... So because I'm using it like this. Do you see how there's like this patch of unevenness? You're actually just supposed to go one way. That's why it's angled, because it's meant to go that way. You're not supposed to because that's where you leave a little bit more product than you intended to. The only thing I do is I just get this Bahama Mama. So I do use it to give my face a little bit more dimension. I don't even really contour that much because I feel like what a hard problem. My cheekbones are already high. No, but really, you're supposed to look at your face and know what you can do to enhance those features and what you don't have to do because you already like the way it looks. So like in my case, I don't want to contour anymore because I feel like I have a small face, and if I do contour, then I just end up making my face look smaller. So I just get this brush. It blends a little bit more nicely than the angled brush I showed you, and I just super lightly dust it under my cheekbones. And you can see already, I didn't have to go all out. It really just saves me a lot of time. I only sculpt it here. I don't go on the side. As I said, my forehead is quite tall. So this is the one that brings it a little down. And I don't even contour my nose anymore. Minsan, yan lang. Kasi okay na ako sa nose ko. But sometimes I will. And I'm gonna do that now just to show you that I didn't have to use a contour stick to do it. And I think that's just my preference. Okay, so now I'm just gonna finish the rest of my face and we're gonna come back and check up close what the difference is between these two. Okay guys, so here's the finished look. In fairness, like this side, it actually looks pretty good from afar, but we're gonna see if it still holds up close up. This side looks a lot more natural. This side, I would probably still do a lot of the techniques that I did for stage makeup, not so much for in real life, because we're gonna see later up close and not on ring light how this side looks like, because right now with the ring light it's looking great. I'm in my bathroom and I don't have a ring light here, so we're checking to see how both sides hold up in like normal artificial lighting. That's not like studio ring light lighting. Let's see this one close up. It's really creasing. It's giving me wrinkles that I didn't know I had. It's probably aged me like 10 years. When you pull it down, you can see that there's like a lot of product that got stuck underneath my folds because we did put a lot of product. That's what the baking does, guys. This is what baking does to you. It ages you. You know how they're like anti-aging creams that say like, will make you look 10 years younger? Baking, their tagline should be like, will make you look 10 years older. Will they even need to ask me for an ID if I pass through a casino? No, because they usually do, but now they won't because I bake. Wow. I still use the baking method whenever I do theater makeup because you know it's gonna see me this close. But in real life, I would never go out like this ever again. So if we check under my eyes, oh, look at that. So much better than this. Holy God. Do you guys see the difference? From afar, this kind of looks a little more like snatched. Up close, the difference is really like massive, especially when I smile. I can't get over how different it is. And also because that full coverage concealer that I was wearing from L'Oreal, it is full coverage and it is matte, so it does stay a long time. I love it for that reason. It kind of has to sacrifice moisture for being all day wear. This side, I didn't use as much product. It looks so much more hydrated. I'm not like scared of smiling like I usually am when I do this method. I get so scared of smiling that sometimes when I take pictures, I'm just like, so that I don't see the creases. But this, I can smile and I don't have to worry. And you can see on this side, like it kind of looks crazy. It kind of looks like I really got sunburned. Now let's see it on this side. It's not as crazy. I still look like a human being. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I really like my eyeshadow on this side. How do I blink? I can't blink using this eye. It's a lot more blended. So yeah, that's why I changed my whole routine. That, you guys, ends this video. I think the moral of the lesson is there is never one way to do your makeup. It's really about finding the things that work for your skin type, for your face shape, and all of that, because a lot of the techniques that I did wrong, quote unquote wrong, were techniques that I learned because I thought that was the only way you could do your makeup. Like, how come everyone on YouTube bakes? How come all the beauty gurus bake? And I don't know how to make it look nice without looking like Yzma from The Empress New Groove. Makeup is really, it's really about fitting your look to your look. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm so sabaw na. So, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and I will be back with another video soon. Hit that notification bell down below there. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I used to use a Wet n Wild I have eczema and I do have some... Oh my god, calm down. Okay, so I'm in my bathroom. Oh my god, that's a bra. But the pumpy pump doesn't really work.